I never thought of putting it that way exactly. I designed your magnificent body to last forever, and the earliest of you did live in the body virtually pain free and without fear of what you now call death. In your religious mythology, you symbolize your cellular memory of these first version humans by calling them Adam and Eve. Actually, of course, there were more than two. At the outside, the idea of for you wonderful souls who have a chance to know yourself as who you really are through experiences gained in the physical body, in the relative world, as I have explained repeatedly here. This was done through the slowing down of the unfathomable speed of all vibration, thought form, to produce matter, including that matter you call the physical body. Life evolved through a series of steps in the blink of an eye that you now call billions of years. And in this holy instant came you out of the sea, the water of life, onto the land, and into the form you now hold. Then the evolutionists are right. I find it amusing, a source of continual amusement actually, that you humans have such a need to break everything down into right and wrong. It never occurs to you that you've made those labels up to help you define the material and yourself. It never occurs to you, except to the finest minds among you, that the thing could be both right and wrong. That only in the relative world are things one or the other. In the world of the absolute, of time, no time, all things are everything. There is no male and female. There is no before and after. There is no fast and slow, here and there, up and down, left and right, and no right and wrong. Your astronauts and cosmonauts have gained a sense of this. They imagined themselves to be rocketing upward to get to outer space, only to find when they got there that they were looking up at the earth. Or were they? Maybe they were looking down at the earth. But then, where was the sun? Up, down? No. Over there, to the left. So now suddenly a thing was neither up nor down, it was sideways, and all definitions thus disappeared. So it is in my world, our real realm, all definitions disappear, rendering it difficult to even talk about this realm in definite terms. A religion is your attempt to speak of the unspeakable. It does not do a very good job. No, my son, the evolutionists are not right. I created all of this, in the blink of an eye, in one holy instant, just as the creationists have said. And it came through a process of evolution, taking billions and billions of what you call years, just as the evolutionists claim. They are both right, as the cosmos discovered. It all depends on how you look at it. But the real question is, one holy instant oblique billions of years, what's the difference? Can you simply agree that on some of the questions of life, the mystery is too great for even you to solve? Why not hold the mystery as sacred? And why not allow the sacred to be sacred and leave it alone? I suppose we all have an insatiable need to know. But you already know. I've just told you. Yet you don't want to know the truth. You want to know the truth as you understand it. This is the greatest barrier to your enlightenment. You think you already know the truth. You think you already understand how it is. So you agree with everything you see or hear or read that falls into the paradigm of your understanding and reject everything which does not. And this you call learning. This you call being upon to the teachings. Alas, you can never be open to the teaching so long as you are close to everything save your own truth. Thus, we will thus will this very book be called blasphemy, the work of the devil by some. Yet, those who have ears to hear, let them listen. I tell you this, you were not meant to ever die. Your physical form was created as a magnificent convenience, a wonderful tool, a glorious vehicle, allowing you to experience the reality you have created with your mind, that you may know the self you have created in your soul. The soul conceives, the mind creates, the body experiences. The circle is complete. The soul then knows itself in its own experience. If it does not like what it is experiencing or feeling, or wishes a different experience for any reason, it simply conceives of a new experience of self and quite literally changes its mind. Soon the body finds itself in a new experience. I am the resurrection and the life was a magnificent example of this. How do you think Jesus did it anyway? Or do you not believe it ever happened? Believe it, it happened. So when we're talking about, the workings of the mind, like we were discussing earlier, anything which is outside of you is absolutely neutral. Because जो भी आपके outside में है, it is as it is. But how the mind is perceiving the same, good, bad, neutral, not so good, not so bad, very good, very bad, they are nothing but labels of an individual mind. वो सेम एक्सपीरियंस जो आउटसाइड है, आपके बाहर है, उस एक्सपीरियंस में कोई भी गुड और बैड नहीं है. It is a neutral. It is as it is. But how your own mind, depending on your own set of beliefs, memories, programming, conditioning, is perceiving that outside experience, that is where the mind is actually labeling it good, bad, very good, very bad, so, so good, so, so bad, neutral, or whatever. उस चीज में ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. ये माइंड के परसेप्शन लेबल्स हैं. और देयर इज नथिंग मोर देन दैट, बिकॉज द ट्रूथ इज ऑलवेज फैक्चुअल. बट उसमें मसाले का तड़का हमारा माइंड लगाता है कि ये गुड है, कि ये बैड है, ये मेरे लिए अच्छा है, या ये मेरे लिए बुरा है. Because what happens basically, there is always this curiosity कि, for example, मेरे को एक, I have this knowledge that, so and so thing is good. And that is what I have learned, that is what I have practiced, and that is what I have experienced in my upbringing or whatever, my conditioning, my program. Now, if the same set of experience happens outside, immediately the memory cord is triggered and it's decided that this is good because it matches with your past experiences. And if it's a experience other than what is, in your memory patterns, it's labeled as bad. ये तो है ही नहीं. Similarly, When we are talking about, even in this book or any other, uh, sphere of life, हम हर एक चीज को इस अप्रोच से लेते हैं कि हमें सब पता है. Anything and everything in happening in our life is always approached from that premise of I know it all. मुझे सब पता है. Whereas that is not the reality. You know certain things. There is no doubt about it. But just because you know certain things, you have experienced certain things, does not mean that that is the end of whatever knowledge that is available outside. So when we are approaching things, trying to come from a positive frame, from a positive perspectively glasses of the mind, try and always be open to grasp what is there. See, I cannot go with a cup full of water and expect people to give me water. Because अगर वो उस कप में जिसमें पानी भरा हुआ है वो पानी डाल देंगे, it is going to overflow. It's not going to make sense to you. So you need to empty your cup and say, okay, now what is empty your cup basically now? बड़े लोग बोलते हैं जी empty your cup कर दो, empty your cup कर दो. होता क्या है empty your cup? A water inside a cup represents all the knowledge that you have or that you have access to. But हमें सारी knowledge नहीं चाहिए होती. हमें वो knowledge को अपनी day to day में experience करना है और उस knowledge का juice निकाल के जो wisdom है उसको digest करना. That is actually what you mean by emptying your cup. It's not you take the water, you take your knowledge and you throw it down the drain. I don't know anything. No. उस knowledge से experiential learning, experiential wisdom को absorb करना है so that your cup is ready to absorb more knowledge. And in that process, it is also said that it is very important for your cup to be clean. Because अगर वो clean नहीं होगा in terms of negative thoughts, negativity, negative feelings, negative affirmations or negative states of mind or negative below the line feelings, whatever knowledge that we put, whatever water we put in that empty cup which is dirty, it will remain dirty, and that water you will not be able to have. And even if you have that water of that from that dirty cup, it will not give you that comfort and it will cause you some kind of a discomfort or a disease. So उस knowledge को निचोड़ो, wisdom में convert करो, experiential learning लो and absorb it, and then be ready for more. Yet this much is so: the soul will never override the body or the mind. I made you as a 3-in-1 being. You are 3 beings in one, made in the image and likeness of me. The 3 aspects of self are in no wise unequal to each other. Each has a function, but no function is greater than another, nor does any function actually precede another. All are interrelated in an exactly equal way. Conceive, create, experience. What you conceive, you create. What you create, you experience. What you experience, you conceive. This is why it is said, if you can cause your body to experience something, take abundance, for example, you will soon have the feeling of it in your soul. which will conceive of itself in a new way, namely abundant, thus presenting your mind with a new thought about that. From the new thought springs more experience, and the body begins living a new reality as a permanent state of being. Your body, your mind, and your soul spirit are one. In this, you are a microcosm of me, the divine all, the holy everything, the sum and the substance. You see now how I am beginning and the end of everything, the Alpha and the Omega. Now I will explain to you the ultimate mystery, your exact and true relationship to me. You are my body. As your body is to your mind and soul, so too are you to my mind and soul. Therefore, everything I experience through you, just as your body, mind, and spirit are one, so too are mine. So it is that Jesus of Nazareth, among the many who understand this mystery, spoke immutable truth when he said, I and the Father are one. Now I will tell you, there are even larger truths than this to which you will one day become privy. For even as you are the body of me, I am the body of another. You mean you're not God? Yes, I am God, as you now understand him. I am goddess, as you now comprehend her. I am the conceiver and the creator of everything you now know and experience, and you are my children, even as I am the child of another. Are you trying to tell me that even God has a God? I am telling you that your perception of ultimate reality is more limited than you thought, and the truth is more unlimited than you can imagine. I am giving you ever so small a glimpse of infinity and infinite love, a much larger glimpse, and you could not hold it in your reality. You can barely hold this. Wait a minute. You mean I am really not talking with God here? I have told you, if you conceive of God as your creator and master, even as you are the creator and master of your body, I am the God of your understanding. And you are talking with me. Yes, it has been a delicious conversation. No, delicious or not, I thought I was talking with the real God, the God of gods, the top guy, the chief honcho. You are. Believe me, you are. And yet you say there is someone above you in the hierarchical scheme of things. We are now trying to do the impossible, which is to speak of the unspeakable. As I said, this is what religions seek to do. Let me see if I can find a way to summarize this. Forever is longer than you know. Eternal is longer than forever. God is more than you imagine. God is the energy you call imagination. God is creation. God is first thought. And God is last experience. And God is everything in between. Have you ever looked down a high powered microscope or seen pictures or movies of molecular action and said, good heavens, there's a whole universe down there? And to that universe, I, the now present observer, must feel like God. Have you ever said that or had that kind of an experience? Yes, I should imagine every thinking person has. Indeed, you have given your own glimpse of what I am showing you here. And what would you do if I told you that this reality of which you have given yourself a glimpse never ends? Explain that. I'd ask you to explain that. Take the smallest part of the universe you can imagine. Imagine this tiny, tiny particle of matter. Okay. Now cut it in half. Okay. What have you got? Two smaller halves. Precisely. Now cut those in half. What now? Two smaller halves. Right. Now again and again, what's left? Smaller and smaller particles. Yes. But when does it stop? How many times can you divide matter until it ceases to exist? I don't know. I guess it'll never cease to exist. You mean you can never completely destroy it? All you can do is change its form. It would seem so. I tell you this, you have just learned the secret of all of life and seen into infinity. Now I have a question to ask you. Now, before we get into that question, when God is actually trying to sum it up that what exactly is God, he reads and he says it in, this beautiful line, which says, I'm going to reread that line, forever is longer than you know. So forever is longer than what you think you know. And eternal is actually longer than forever. So जो eternal है, वो forever से भी आगे है. And God is more than you can imagine. So your imagination of what God is, he is actually much more than you can actually think of. Because he is what is known to you, and he is also what is unknown to you. God is the energy you call imagination. God is creation. God is first thought and the last experience. And also God is everything in between. So whatever we see or we cannot see, the form, the formless, the seeable, the unseen, what you can experience and what you cannot experience, everything is God. So जो हमें सामने space भी नजर आती है, या when we look at the sky and we see that, we feel that that space is empty, उस space की emptiness में भी, that is the God which you cannot see. And that is that power. So God, if you don't like the word, we can always replace it with universe, energy, whatever name you like. God, energy, universe, almighty, Allah, Ram, whatever. But that exists in what we can see and what we cannot see, in what has a form and in what that does not have a form. So everything which is formless or with a form is God. So what is happening right now, if we are saying the God inside me is actually speaking and the God inside of you is actually listening. So in the reality of it, it's a conversation between God. But जब वो गॉड एक इंडिविजुअल सोल की बॉडी माइंड के और सोल की कॉम्बिनेशन के साथ जब वो एक इंडिविजुअल बॉडी माइंड और सोल के एक्सपीरियंस से कुछ नया एक्सपीरियंशियल आता है, that experience is also from one God, experienced by another God. And when we see that the other person is different, he's not, the same as me, the only distinguishing factor is the barrier of the skin. You remove the skin, everybody is one. आपको यही नहीं लगता कि मैं अपने आप से लड़ रहा हूँ, because the God is inside you is the same as the God which is inside the others. It's only through the skin that there is a barrier which makes us believe that we are different. That's the only barrier on a human being that makes us feel different to all others around us. And that's one of the major reasons that, when you talk about the formless, or when you're, in that state of meditation, that barrier of the skin is not there. And that makes you in a better connection with that oneness and with that one force, which is called the source, the energy, the God or Almighty, whatever. Okay. What makes you think infinity goes only one way? So there is no end going up any more than there is going down. There is no up or down, but I understand your meaning. But if there is no end to smallness, that means there is no end to bigness. Correct. But if there is no end to bigness, then there is no biggest. That means in the largest sense, there is no God. Or perhaps all of it is God and there is nothing else. I tell you this, I am that I am. And in Hindi, it's Om Soham. And you are that you are. You cannot be, not be. You cannot not be. You can change form all you wish, but you cannot fail to be. Yet you can fail to know who you are. And in this failing experience, only the half of it. That would be hell. Exactly. Yet you are not condemned to it. You are not relegated to it forevermore. All that it takes to get out of hell, to get out of not knowing, is to know again. There are many, many ways, dimensions in which you can do this. You are in one of those dimensions now. It is called, in your understanding, the third dimension. And there are many more. Have I not told you that in my kingdom, there are many mansions? I would not have told it to you were it not so. Then there is no hell, not really. I mean, there is no place or dimension to which we are everlasting condemned. What would be the purpose of that? Yet, you are always limited by your knowingness. For you, we are a self-created being. You cannot be what you do not know yourself to be. This is why you have been given this life, so that you might know yourself in your own experience. Then you can conceive of yourself as who you really are and create yourself in that, in as that is your experience. And the circle is again complete, only bigger. And so you are in the process of growing, or as I have put it throughout this book, of becoming. There is no limit to what you can become. You mean I can become, dare I say it, a God just like you? What do you think? I don't know. Until you do, you cannot. Remember the triangle, the Holy Trinity, spirit, mind, body. Conceive, create, experience. Remember using your symbology. Holy Spirit is equal to inspiration, is equal to conceive. Father is equal to parenting, is equal to create son, is equal to offspring, is equal to experience. The son experienced the creation of the fathering thought, which is conceived of by the Holy Ghost. Can you conceive yourself as one day being a God? In my wildest moments? Good, for I tell you this, you are already a God. You simply do not know it. Have I not said, ye are gods?